Hey, what's going on, peoples? This is Manuel Godoy, the CEO of Black Sands Entertainment. I'm here with Bryan Covington, the man, the myth, the legend behind Between Magic and Dreams, a novel series that you might have seen me selling over the past 6 months. He's with us today. He's going to be talking about his journey as an author, his current Kickstarter campaign, and then obviously we're going to throw around some questions at the very end. So if you're here, let me know in the comment section where you're from, where you representing. All right, I'm from Middletown, Delaware. Where are you from? Let me know in the comment section, okay? And Bryan, please introduce yourself to the people.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Bryan D. Covington, author of Between Magic and Dreams. I would want to say that originally I am from Montgomery, Alabama. I've been rapping Georgia for quite some time, and now I've landed myself in Florida somehow. So,
Word, word, word. And as far as this journey, where did it all begin, man? Where did this all begin? The first time you thought about writing a story, especially this story between Magic and Dreams.
well, Between Magic and Dreams was something that was rolling around inside my head 15 years before I actually wrote the first words. Um, a good friend of mine, Gentian Osmond, created the title, actually wrote the title out for me. And I told her, like, she has these incredible art skills. I was like, look, I want you to write it out as beautifully as you can. And from that point forward, anything that I do attached to this book has to match that quality. And she did not make it easy. but but man, from that point forward, that the characters were slowly coming to mind, and I had ideas, but life was always in the way, and jobs, and it's like, oh man, I don't have the money for this, I don't have the money for that. It was funky, but I ran into you at Dragon Con one year. We had a conversation. I looked at your books and everything, and I think I was dumbstruck by the cost. I was like, $10 for a book. But then after we had that conversation, it dawned on me that yeah, you're not just getting a book, you're backing something, you're supporting a movement. So it was worth the investment, and I'm glad I stuck with it because now I'm 10 books in, But back to the Between Magic and Dreams thing, man. I think it was like the third time I met you, my sister was there at the same time, and she was like, "Did you know he's doing a free course?" I was like, "A free course for what?" And when you told me about it, that was the catalyst. Um, from that point forward, I was like, okay, if I don't do this now, it's kind of on me. It's one thing to have an idea, but it's another thing to move towards making that thing a reality. So I signed up for the course, and I just told myself that, come hell or high water, I was going to get this thing done. So you said
Word.
3 months, I'll have a book. 3 months later, I had a book.
Yeah, how long it takes for you to release it though? Because you
I
like
think
it.
it was, I think I dropped it in like April or May.
Oh, got you.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So that's the reality of this thing, man. Sometimes you just gotta pull a trigger, man. People get stuck on an idea forever and never actually like get it out there. So he
yeah.
did. He got it out there, and it was warmly receptive because, I've sold his books in the past, and we always did great time. We had a great time selling it. It sells very well in my store, so I keep selling it. Right. Most of the time, I get people off my store pretty quickly. I don't see the
Oh,
move. I don't see the units moving. Then I automatically, get them out of there because at the end of the day, it's just taking up space,
mhm.
right? Very expensive real estate. So I was like, if it's not moving, it means that my audience doesn't really have an affinity toward it. But they've always had an affinity toward between Magic and Dreams. I think we sold maybe 1,200 copies or something like that already of the novel.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy for a novel, right? And that was in 6 months. So it's definitely something that is great. That's why I'm excited about his Kickstarter that he's doing right now, where he's pushing into book two and book three of the series, right? I think you're basically done with book two, right?
Yes, book two is actually complete. So complete, in fact, that on the Kickstarter, you're going to be able to have access to a variant cover that's only going to be on the Kickstarter. So if 200 people order it, there's only going to be 201 because I'm going to have one. And same thing with the exclusive sticker and the exclusive poster. My artist El Sevilla, incredible guy, by the way. He is someone that is reliable, which is something I look for in anyone that I work with.
Mhm.
And he not only delivers incredible work, but he does so on time. So when I gave him this idea of like, yo, how about if I do a poster, but then we have a variant poster? Because there's a character in the story that has the ability to see things differently in a way. And I figured why not play on that for this poster? So yeah, we're gonna have that exclusive poster. Again, only as many as that are ordered are going to be produced, plus one. and and yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a great ride just making more stuff. In fact, the whole purpose of the Kickstarter is to keep the story going. We've got one more novel to go. The
Yep.
second one, like I said, is done, and there's a few other things that I would like to play around with, but
So the
that's
third
all
one
in the
is
coming.
basically an end of a series, right? Like we're wrapping it up. You know, the story is complete for the most part.
Well, the story is complete from this person's perspective.
Okay.
Quinn is the main protagonist in this story, so it's from his perspective throughout all three books.
Hmm.
But one of the things that is important or imperative to the story is the fact that there's all these static characters. But the fact of the matter is, even static characters have their own stories. So this one follows his story, but then there's more to come. If this is well received, we can go off into another trilogy. We can go off into comic work. We can go off into a lot of things because there's a lot of characters that have stories that would mean a lot or are relatable to a lot of people who've been reading.
Okay. So let's assume that let's look at this Kickstarter right now. Let's go and deep dive into it, right? So
Okay.
I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Boom, right? So you already passed your initial goal. Let's see what your stretch goals are. Um, where are they at? Let's see.
Stretch goals have not been posted yet. I just finished
What the
those.
hell, man?
Oh, yo, man, it's
All
been
right.
crazy busy. If
Well, well, the stretch goals I assume is to fund and issue three, right? Or book three,
Right.
right?
Everything from getting the audiobook done for book two all the way into three. So, I mean, all these things cost, but
Hmm.
I'm not willing to really skimp on anything. So, I've gotten the first two done on my own.
Yeah.
I would like a little assistance to get the rest of these things coming in a good, timely manner. I mean, I can
Well,
drag it out, but I'd rather not.
I know. That's the reality of it. Money equals time. So the more
Yes.
money you have, the less time it takes to go and finish it up. So I understand that 100%. Hey, so me personally, you know me, I financially support this brand in general, right? I mean, I like it when a student actually finishes the work and does something, right? 'Cause I can't stand. Me personally, you know me, I financially support this brand in general, right? I mean, I like.
That I don't know what that was. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at that right there. But basically, like the reality is, when you're working on this stuff and you're actually succeeding, right?
Hmm.
It's just a testament to what I do as a teacher, right? It's like because I wanted a whole bunch of offers, and some did, right? They made their first book on the course, right? But I want them to make books, make a future, have some income coming in from it, right? Just move on to that next level. So I'm always rooting up for you to have massive success for that particular reason in and of itself, right? And also, who knows what'll happen in the future? There might be a book division of Black Sands one day, right? But the idea is that to see people succeed in this space without doing the typical stories, right? And
Yes.
typical stories are like romance, Christian novel or something. It's always something like that, right? Romance or novel or crime drama or Christian novel. That's all that happens in like the black space right now for novels. And we want to make something different.
And that's
Uh,
pretty unfortunate too, because there's a lot of people who are looking for this type of stuff.
yeah.
And you look at even in the film, we have like, a couple people in Harry Potter, but I'm pretty sure they're just in the crowd or at the table or whatnot, but never in an actual role to where their presence is significant.
Yeah, I feel you on that. So for us, we just got to do that ourselves. We got to be able to get that done, and you're definitely proving that that's possible. Now, there was a couple of mistakes you've made throughout the process. So let's go through that. Besides the obvious pitch problems you had at one
Yeah.
point in time, what were the other problems you might have had in your own personal space about how to make these books, the cost or whatever that you would like to share with people right now in order for them to avoid it themselves?
Okay. Well, two things. Well, first, before we get into that, people have asked me, what's it like working with you? Now, my answer has always been, and I'm going to stick with this. You are very trial by fire. You will say, okay, let's hear your pitch. And once it gets long and the person walks off, you're like, all right, shorten that. Get to the point. Give them the meat and potatoes. I'm like, okay. So granted, I learned a lot from that first day that we worked together at Baltimore Comic Con. It's something that is invaluable. So yes, getting a mentor, regardless of what anybody else says, is something that's going to save you time, effort, and ultimately money. But as far as my mistakes, I would say at first letting cost dictate what it was that I would do as far as for my product.
Okay.
Of course, I went for like, oh man, let me see if I can get this person to do my editing instead of paying this guy. Now, value costs. You get somebody to do something for free, you're gonna get free looking work, right? So it's
Yeah.
after I got it, I had
I don't
somebody
like
read through it.
I don't
Huh?
like free. I don't like free at all.
Yeah.
I want no free work ever.
And considering now how I'm now working with a lot of people, I don't let anybody do anything for free, even if they offer, just because one, I want to set a different standard, but two, you put money on the table, people are more apt to give you better quality, you
They're
know?
accountable. You just say, I'm not
Yes.
going to pay for that trash. And that's it.
Yeah.
They're going to make it better.
So, I mean, there was that. Another thing was wasting a lot of time on uh side projects, right? I mean, once
That's
the
a big
first
one.
book was done, yeah, because if you try to do it all yourself, you don't get anything done. So I kind of put the side projects aside, and instead of trying to do everything for this book myself, I let the capital do the work, which is something that you had in your
That's
course.
my number one slogan. Let the capital do the work. The hell with that. I ain't doing nothing.
So yeah, up front, I didn't have like a whole lot of cash, but I stacked it. I built up, and then was like, all right, how much is this? There you go. I don't haggle because once you start haggling with people, it makes them feel as though their work is worth less than what they expected to get paid for it. So you start off on a good spot and keep it moving from there. That mutual respect builds throughout that business relationship.
I feel you on that.
So those are a couple of things. Other than that, man, I don't know. I think the fact that I had mentors kept me from making a lot more mistakes than I did.
Yeah, I guess so. At the end of the day, people got to stop you from doing crazy stuff. And one of the biggest ones that you said, which is very true, is side projects.
Mm,
Oh, the obsession of side projects from new creators is crazy. They work on everything in the world. Like, hey, this novel sold thousands of books. You know what? I should make it into an anime. Like, can you afford it? No,
mm.
but I'm gonna dabble on it for 2 years. Right? You're like, oh my God, man, just freaking make the next book. The book sells. Right? It's like you stick with the thing that brought you to the dance. If the
Yes,
book is selling, you make the next book. Case closed. Right?
like
Because
like like
one,
LL, man. You diversify once you're successful.
yeah, it's like one day you're gonna have a bundle where you have book 1, 2, and 3 for $40. Nobody's gonna blink an eyelash at that price, right? Book 1, 2, and 3, and it's gonna have phenomenal margins, and you're gonna be able to sell that as many times as you sell an individual book because people like sets, people like completion. So the person that goes to the store and wants to buy Between Magic and Dreams, they don't care if they spend 40 versus 15. All they know is the complete story is here, so I'm going to buy the whole series,
That's
right?
right.
And that means margins are going to be phenomenal. That's when you actually have a living, right? Because you can't make a living off of one book. I don't care how good the book is. You need
Yeah,
multiple books, and they need to sell in collections. That's how you start making big money. And
yeah. Without fail, every single person I've spoken to that's doing well in it told me the same thing. You want your first book to do well? Put out your second book.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Now, before let's go get into the questions. I want the people in the crowd to start asking questions to Bryan and myself. Any questions at all related to novels, books, comics, the future, whatever. We're going to be answering your questions, and I'm going to look personally on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is not connected to the chat, so I can't see the comments on LinkedIn unless I actually get them in the LinkedIn channel. But I'm watching. I'm watching you guys. So just leave your comments over there, whatever questions you have. Remember, you can back his campaign right now. He's at 29 backers. So I don't care what anyone says. By the end of the night, I want to see 40 backers on this campaign. All right. I want to see at least 40 backers on this Kickstarter campaign between Magic and Dreams. The link is in the description. All right. So all you gotta do is just put the click the link in the description. You'll be able to go to it and back the campaign and get you some novels. If you haven't even bought any yet, now's a good time to get them. Now let me see them questions. Come on, hand them off.
Another thing
Uh,
is on
here's,
that campaign. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
here's a good
How can I
question.
build my audience?
My audience. So I haven't helped you at all yet, and you already got this amount of support, right?
Mhm.
So how'd you do it?
Well, um, I've decided that I wanted to do things differently from the ground up and
Mhm.
take the knowledge that I've been given from my mentors and from other people that I work with in order to accomplish this goal. So instead of simply, putting out content and saying, "Hey, follow me," I
Mhm.
would actually reach out to other creators who are, just starting out or if they've had stuff out for a while, and I would purchase their product. Number one, I wouldn't tell them what my plan is, but I would purchase their product, read it, and if I like it, I put it up and I talk about it, right? I mention them so that they see what I've done. But my whole thing is to build a community
Yeah.
where we start pushing each other's stuff. We start being our own influencers. And that way, now my product has got his followers' eyes, and vice versa. And then you move on to the next person.
Yeah.
As you build, now we've got this cross pollination, and we're all starting to grow, and it's not hurting anybody in the means of like, hey, yeah, I'll back your stuff, but give me a book. These things cost money, and the production of it wasn't cheap. So at the very least, pay for the book, pay for the product, and then give it an honest review to the masses. In doing so, you help yourself because they are going to turn around just out of respect for what you've done for them for nothing and do the same thing. Either they're back on like Kickstarter or they're mention your stuff or they'll even post it or post about it. All these things are good things that other folks would typically have to pay for. So in building that community where we cross pollinate and build each other up, it builds momentum. I expected to have to wait near the end of the month and hit you up like, man, I just need one hard push. But
Yeah,
man,
that's
it's been happening.
that's one thing I'll say too, like reciprocity. So what he's really talking about right now is the theory of reciprocity. All right. So if you don't know what that is, go look at the five laws of, I think it's selling or something like that, right? Five laws of selling. So reciprocity is a law which states that if I do something for you for free, you will do something for me in return. Maybe it's buying my book, maybe it's giving a shout out for my Kickstarter or whatever. But the idea is I don't have to ask you to do it. You feel obligated to do it because you have received something of value yourself. You understand? And no one tied any strings to it. You just got it. So that's what he's talking about. He's doing a review for them. He's exposing his audience to their books. It's an honest review. He ain't asked for nothing in return up front, you know. And when he has a Kickstarter, they go and talk about the Kickstarter because they've had that genuine level of value from him in the past. You understand? So that's the idea of what he's talking about right there. It's called the theory of reciprocity. So don't be in my DMs talking about, hey, I got this Kickstarter, I got dope black characters, right? Give me a shout out. And that's the first time I ever heard from you before. I ain't never seen you before in my life, right? That ain't gonna work for me, right? People do it all the time. They say, hey, man, I got a Kickstarter out. It's right up your alley. I said, great, good for you, right? Ignored. So be careful.
Yo, and another good thing, man, is to like give knowledge, right? I mean, it's a lot of people are asking for paid mentorship, and that's cool, right? But
Mhm.
if there's somebody like some teenagers like, yo, man, I got this really cool idea. I want to do this, I want to do that. Give knowledge and then watch these people grow. Stick around for a little bit, you know? And if they aren't doing anything, then stop wasting your time.
All right, let's
Right?
go ahead and move on to the next question, though, because I do want to get some other people as well.
Gotcha.
Let me get a LinkedIn question. So I'm gonna pull this one off. Let me pull off a LinkedIn question. I see Anthony Siu Paul. I can't really say the last name, but Anthony Siu Paul says, "What's a good online marketing strategy?" So the idea is to be a. This is what I tell everybody: be a subject matter expert. Your fans like the subject matter, right? The book or whatever. It's tackling a specific idea. So what you want to do is when you're posting, don't post about your pretty pictures. Don't post about your, your value of your product or whatever. Talk about the actual thing that they're interested in. All right. So if yours is dream world, right? Dream world metaphysics and stuff. Talk about that every now and then because that's the
Mm.
stuff they're buying. So it's like talk about the meta, universe and multiple. It don't matter, right? Just talk about it. Be a part of it. Repost people who are experts in that space and just simply say, "This guy knows what he's talking about." Literally, it's all you gotta do. But be a part of that system and be someone that people can follow and say, "This is a credible person in this space," and you'll see a huge following in that, and they'll also buy your products. Me, I'm the Black History Before Slavery guy, so you're gonna see all the time stuff that has nothing to do with comics. It has everything to do with Black History Before Slavery, right? And I'll jump into that battle when something comes up, a controversy in that space. I'm in there first time. I'm first one in, right? So this is how you do your online strategy for social media, right? You also want to capture as many emails as you can along the way, right? But that's a
Yeah.
really long game. Like for instance, I
Yes.
have about 90,000 people in my email list, so and it took a while to make that. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling that right now. I mean, it's the cool thing
Brian,
about it is the people that are doing it are loyal, but it just takes time to build that up.
yeah, Brian. Here's a question for you. If you could do a crossover between Magic and Dreams with any non-BPS series, not I don't know what BPS. I guess Black Sands Publishing series. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, what would it be? Uh, I'm gonna take the non BSP series out of there because we're dope. So you can go ahead and just talk about whatever series you want, right? What would be a crossover?
Man, you know what? There's actually a few. I mean, book
One,
wise or novel wise, just
one.
one.
We want to get as many questions as we can in. So one,
All right. I would say Odina.
Odina. All right. Okay,
Yeah,
Odina.
I think that's the concrete one. Yeah.
Would you suggest doing social media content like promo videos? Yeah, of course. Don't spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
Don't do a $5,000 promo video. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
People
speaking of
do it.
which,
People do that. People will spend like
yeah,
$5,000 on a fucking video for their Kickstarter campaign, and you'd be like, "That's your whole Kickstarter budget."
I know it'll look good, but you're not making that money back.
I once heard some clown. This guy was a total idiot, but yeah, he did like $20,000 on Kickstarter, and he was like, "Yeah, man, almost broke even." I'm like, "What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell would you do for this Kickstarter
I'm
campaign?"
sure that wasn't the
Sweat,
plan.
sweating bullets at 18,000, sweating bullets, And I'm like, "What is wrong with you guys?" Like, it's not that serious, right? So I always tell people, like, control your cost, man. Promo is, you know, you gotta control the cost, man. You end up spending more money on your Kickstarter campaign than what you raised. It's just this wild stuff, you know. Let's see.
Those stretch goals made it in, by the way.
Okay. What would any offer need to bring to the table in order to broker best deals with Black Sands? A book. A book. I get this question all the time. The answer is a book. Don't come at me with an idea. Don't come at me with a script. Don't come at me with anything that's not fully developed with your own team of every single individual you'll need in order to make more books. If you don't have that, we're not even going to have a conversation. I'm not looking at any ideas. I don't care about them. And more importantly, it's not legally smart to look at an idea, right? That's with a comic, you're deep in, right? You're deep. You can't say that if I'm making a book that has a similar idea, if it obviously just don't look the same, then clearly it's not the same book. You know what I'm saying? But you could do that with words. Oh, that was my idea, right? And I'll be like, yeah, okay. You know, so I don't look at anything that's just a script. I don't look at anything that's just a concept. Nope, it has to have tangible pages already developed. And if you can't do that, you can't work with Black Sands. Simple as that. I'm not a beginner friendly company at all, right? It's an intermediate entrance, right? We do not do beginner stuff at all here.
Yeah, I did have a quick question about the comic stuff too.
Yeah.
What in order to have a comic on Black Sands, would all the people involved have to be POC?
No, but the leadership does.
Okay.
Whoever owns it has to be Black or brown or
Gotcha.
indigenous, right?
Mhm.
That's because that's just the objective of the company, to give them the spotlight, right? So I don't care if their whole team, if you're a Black offer and you got a whole team of white folks working for you, I don't care about that. Don't bother me one bit, right? I have a problem with, us doing $1 billion on Black Panther with an entire staff that's completely Black, and all the actors are Black, all the voices are Black, every single person in the production is Black, and then the white folks make the $1 billion.
Yeah, and we get to control the narrative if we're the ones that are running the ship.
Yeah, so that's just my personal opinion on that. Some people say it's racist. I say I'm just trying to give people who don't have the opportunities a chance to own the rights of their stuff, right? And I don't want other people to be able to exploit our system, because we're making a very curated system of fans, right? So I don't want people to just be able to adopt our fans overnight, right, and then run away with it. That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's keep going. I'm not going to go with this question. I think we already answered it. What is one collaboration? Yeah. What is your marketing plan? How do you reach the most people? Unknown creator, Instagram boost. Alliances. He already told you the strategy. Alliances. Maybe find other creators.
It doesn't take anything to really, check out other people's work, because you want them to check out your work. Just do for them what you would want them to do for you.
That's it. Case closed. That's literally the easiest answer. That's how I started. A lot of allies out there, I was making content for them. They were resharing my stuff. That's how I got past my first 10,000 followers on Instagram, and you got to make your allies. Let's see what else. I'm checking here. I haven't checked here, so let me go refresh this real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Here's a question. I don't know if it's a question, but I'm gonna read it. I'm Puerto Rican and I'm almost done with my manga graphic novel. The main character is not of color, but I do represent them in big roles in the story. Would this qualify to be able to work with you? Define not of color. You mean a white guy, or you mean a Puerto Rican dude? Right? Right? Because to me, a Puerto Rican dude is fine, right? I don't know what you mean by not a person of color, right? Sometimes people don't see it that way, right? But Machete, which is a series that we're about to sign, that's a Puerto Rican title, and the main character got a light tan, maybe like just a very light tan, right? He's Puerto Rican, right? And that's fine with me. I don't care about that, right? So long as he's culturally, different, that's fine with me because there's a lot of Spanish titles that will be like that, right? Where the characters are you know, for the most part look white, right? But they Hispanic in some form. So if that's what you mean, then yeah, of course, right? If it's just some serious, like straight up, like a white guy hero story, right? You know, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like it's just not our brand, right? So there's no point doing it, even if the creator is black, brown, indigenous. It doesn't matter to me. It's also a reason why I don't do superhero stories, right? Because I don't care about them. I just don't care. I don't want to have a Marvel clone or a DC clone, right? I don't want to compete in that space. I
Yeah,
don't
that
want
space is already saturated.
yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to compete on slavery, civil rights, right? Gangster stories. It's just it's just pointless to me. To me, it's not my brand. So there are things I avoid straight up off of brand alone, right? And that would be one of them.
Another good thing too is and I got told this just over the weekend by Guy Gilchrist. He was like, yeah, whenever you see a bunch of people going left, you go right. Do something different. Be the one that does something different because that's what's going to build the future. Everything that's stagnant right now is following that flow.
Yeah, that's the reality of it. Market matters. So if it's if it's a capped market, stop trying to get in it. Go somewhere else. Uh, watch Shark Tank. You'll hear that answer all the time. They're like, "Do you know this is a very competitive space, and there's like three companies that own 90% of the entire market, right?" It's like what's to stop them from crushing you like the little man that you are, or whatever, right? Like they say that all the time because it's true. What's to stop them from just destroying you? Right? For even trying to compete with them. If you ever do get traction, the next day they can just destroy you because they feel like it, right? So with us, we want to go somewhere where they are so uncomfortable going that they have no chance of stopping us if we ever do get real traction. And we obviously really do have traction. But the whole point is, if we get to like 100 million, Disney's not going to be able to just come out of nowhere and be like, "Time to crush Black Sands," right? They ain't gonna know how to make a story that we tell, right? It's gonna be so hard for them to even get close to where we're at, and the way we tell our stories, the topics that we are covering, that they'll literally have no chance of stopping us before we're already at $1 billion. So that's the idea of what we're doing. We avoid all the heavy traffic in the middle, right? And we go for the place where nobody's driving, and we conquer that entire area. All right, we're sailing west to the edge of the earth.
Yeah,
Right?
and I want to give a quick shout out to everybody that's showing up for me, man. I mean, I see a lot of names in this chat that I recognize. So, really love you guys. Thank you so much.
Cool. I don't know if you've already answered this, but I was wondering if BSP will be publishing novels anytime soon. Not anytime soon, but maybe in the future. We're going to go through a lot of changes this year. We just finished our investment round. So I'm waiting to talk to Mark Cuban once we're done with all these deals, right? Because he had a lot of tech companies in his portfolio. So we're going to go through a lot of heavy revisions in the app in order to get it to scale, right? And get us to make some money, right? Right? Because I need an app that's gonna make money. I ain't gonna make an app just gonna sit there and cost money, So we gotta make the right changes in order to make that happen. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? Novels might be on the table. Who knows? Let's see. Mm. Let's see. Would you say Kickstarter is the best place to start getting your stories out in the world? Okay, that's a good question. Would you say Kickstarter is the best place to start getting your stories out in the world? And can you suggest other platforms to start on? Kickstarter is to fund your stories. It's not to get your stories out there. To get your stories out there is, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube,
Mhm.
TikTok, right? That's to get your stories out there. Kickstarter is not for exposure. Kickstarter is to pay the bills.
Yeah,
So
Kickstarters after you've gotten that exposure.
yeah, so if you go to Kickstarter first and never been exposed, you're gonna be one of those failure Kickstarter campaigns. And that's never a good look because it stays on your record. So just be careful about that. But that's what I would say about that specifically. Kickstarter is not for exposure. It is for be exposed to fund their projects. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna take like two more questions and I'm out. Let's see. Actually, there's no more questions.
Actually,
So,
I see a good one. You mind if I take it?
where is it? What is it?
It's
Oh,
10 years down the road, what do you see between magic and dreams becoming?
okay. What is it?
I see it becoming its own universe. I mean, as it stands now, this is just the beginning. Like, see, I mean, book one is the seed. By book three, you gain an understanding of how broad the world can be, and
Mm-hmm.
anything beyond um that series, this trilogy, you start getting more of an idea of how vast this can be. And this is the merging of two worlds, two realities, really. So it's a place where nobody feels at home, but everybody is like seeing the opportunities. Um, it's weird how it kind of seems like what's currently going on. I mean, even though right now we got COVID issues all around, but through that, we've got streaming movies straight from, instead of going to the theater, we're getting them right at home. We're getting food delivered. All these kinds of businesses are popping up because they're fulfilling a need that's brought about by current circumstances.
Yep.
Similar things happen in the book.
Okay, that's good. All right. So remember, guys, everybody here, I want to see on his Kickstarter campaign 40 backers. By the time it hits 12 o'clock tonight, I better see 40 backers on his campaign. All right, get you some books. He got some really nice books, so get you some early. He has a really good product. How much did that go up by? I could have sworn it was at like 1,800. What the hell happened?
It was like 1,830 something, and yeah, I think you said some stuff and things happened.
But there's only one backer or two backers that came up. Somebody must have bought. You must have had a really expensive tier.
I did. So look, throughout my tiers, man, there's a lot of really good stuff, but
Okay.
there's a certain tier that I think if they did hit that $1,000 tier, then that means that they're gonna be immortalized in this book.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what's up, right? Hopefully it sticks through at the end, man. I hate those big sometimes the big tears disappear at the last day. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
But if they are great, I've done that before in my times. I've done characters, right? Get characters in the comics for $500. Get executive producer credit for $250. So I've done that plenty of times before. So I know people are excited about those kind of things to be immortalized, right? Like I said, this book series is not a fad. All right. I've sold a lot of the books on my store. It's still on my store right now between Magic and Dreams book one. So you guys are clearly buying them, right? Which means it has, it has a life of its own, right? So this ain't some fad that'll never really get off the ground. It's already selling copies, thousands of copies. And let's keep that train moving. Let's keep that train moving. That's what we call generational wealth.
Exactly.
Everybody loves talking about general wealth by buying black coin. Go buy that black coin by some random person you've never met before in your life. And print some NFTs on that black coin, man. It's going to be worth bazillions one day, right? And we all get scammed out of all our money every time. So let's go invest in, real products, right? Real things. And you never know. If this guy keeps continuing and he sees success, maybe he'll do an investment round where you can buy into his brand. You never know. That's what happened to me. I kept having Kickstarter successes, and I said, you know what? I need a lot more money than what Kickstarter is going to offer me, and so I'm going to do investment rounds. And then people bought stock in my company. So let's get him to the next stage, okay? That way we can reap the benefits of his success, right?
Indeed. Entertainment is key, man. I'm going to bring it to you.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Remember, the link is in the description. So all you got to do is click that link and go and support your man, Bryan Covington, a black man writing black fantasy stories. Let's go.
Thanks, everybody.